ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणाम् ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः साङ्गपदः क्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Our culture and our attitudes are purely religious. Other countries have their own culture, their forms, certain attitudes, customs, which may not have anything to do with the religion. All our forms or all the constituents of culture like dance, music, art, prayers, clothing, relationship, marriage, how you look upon the death, etc., all of them have basis in Vedic vision. Nothing is away from that vision. In other words, the Vedic vision itself manifests in all these forms. And till you understand, you continue the form. If I use Pujya Swamiji's words, fake it and make it. Continue. Like bathing is a simple so-called secular activity. But for us it's a religious activity. Because we invoke all the tirthani in the water available. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati. You don't say Jalesmin, shower esmin. Sannidhim kuru, you have to say this, you have to modify that. But there is a prayer. Doing this photo is also religious. Wearing this type of dress is also religious, based on that Vedic vision. Music, arts is also religious. Dance. This Michael Jackson dance has nothing to do with Bible or the religion. But all Indian dances, Kathakali, Kachipudi, Odissi, whatever you call it, Bharatnatyam, they are all religious. Traditionally, dances were taught in the temple. Temple Vastu, Shiva temple Vastu had a mandapam, one hall extra. It is called. Now not. They have changed the form. Dances are performed in an auditorium. But the spirit is still there. They convert the auditorium into temple. So you go to such dances, there will be one Ganesha or one Krishna on corner with a lamp. And the dancer will first go there, do namaskaras, offer flower, and then start the dance. We may go normally, but she will go in a stylish way, that's all. And all the dance, there will be nothing but some Leela, Krishna Leela or Shiva Leela or Kartikeya, some prasanga, some Puranas. It is purely religious. If you learn vocal, the ragas are also taught in bhajans. There are no love songs. The film industry has used the ragas. But then it is a religious. What is the vision? The vision is whatever is manifestation of that Ishvara or divine. Nothing is separate from it. Therefore, in our perception, Hindu's cultural perception or wisdom perception, everything is puja. Anything is expression of that same Ishvara. Nasato vidyate abhava. We'll see that in Drigdrishya Vivek also. One of the Nididhyasana is that. So we respect mountains, rivers, trees, cow, buffalo, rat, snake, anything. Because that is manifestation of that divine. And therefore, we are vegetarian. It is divinity. There is another perception that God created man and created the world for man's consumption. So Jagat is bhogya. For us, Jagat is puja. Even the home, though here we write, when you have some Vastu Puja, you write housewarming ceremony. But it is actually not housewarming. You have called the Pandita and make it as a temple. It's a place of the Ishvara. So also body, also Ishvara. Deho Devalaya Prokto Jivo Devas Sanatana. Or this Shiv Manas Puja Shloka. Atma Tvam Girija Mati Sahachara Prana पूजा ते विषयोपभोग रचना निद्रा समाधि स्थिति संचार पदयो प्रदक्षिण विधि स्तोत्राणि सर्वागि. सो आत्मात्वम आत्मरूपेण परमात्मा एव विराजते. सो बेदिंग इज अभिषेक. देयरफॉर वी इन्वोक तीर्थस. Doing this also is alankara to that Ishvara. It is not for makeup. Our TV industries have started this, They have all kinds of challas, these women. Now that is stick-on. And when they want to show the villain, there is a snake type, You should see that she wears that, they want to distinguish. Actually, it is kumkumam, we are vibhuti. That's all it is. But now film industry is matching kind of thing, This fellow said, be careful. She is near the snake and snake may bite her. It is about to bite. It looks like a cobra. Don't worry, she is getting recharged for the poison that she has to walk it out. Anyway, coming back to this, point is, We never had those snakes and all kinds of things. They show it in TV. Simple, because it is offering alankara to Ishvara. So also culturally, this country was vegetarian because of religious perception. Because Ishvara resides. They say there is only human being as a soul. The others don't have soul. Jagat is bhogya for man's consumption. This religious perception, we accept the law of karma. It is a fact, it's not something to be believed into, though I will not get into that discussion now. Since the law of karma works, if I kill somebody, I am doing papam, and therefore I don't want to kill. Even today you will find in Indian homes, just 1.5-year-old toddler, baby is sitting in the house, and some insect or some is just crawling. Baby is wondering what kind of toy it is. Baby goes behind it, doesn't know how to hold. This hastendriya is not working. It tries to hold by smashing it. Mother, Indian mother will say, it is papam, Bhagavan hai, don't kill it. And if it is China, okay, it's a good mukhwasa. He'll eat it. This fellow will eat away the thing. Because they eat and drink anything and everything, So, anyway, coming back to this, ahimsa was a value. And the sannyas ashrama is ahimsa ashrama. There is a vow sannyasi takes that I shall not hurt anybody, directly or indirectly. That is why sannyasis never did business. Because when you are into business, competition, the other fellow gets hurt. At least he or she is afraid of you because you are competing. So that vow is taken. Even Indras and Devatas are told, okay, now don't be afraid of me. I may do tapas, but I am not interested in Svargaloka. Bhur loko, maya tyakta, subhu, suvaloko, etc. All lokas are given up. You be rest assured. Don't bother that Urvashi and Apsaras to send to me and disturb me. I don't want this. Ahimsa. That is a ultimate lifestyle Hindu lives in a last ashrama. So, physical ahimsa, eating vegetarian food, as I said yesterday, so many videos are there. How much it is harming to you physically, in terms of wastage of resources also, and in terms of your health also. So we had, this is an additional argument. Primarily, we lived a life of ahimsa because it was a religious value. Ahimsa, paramo dharma. At the same time, our Shastras appreciated you cannot have absolute ahimsa. Survival will involve some himsa, some injury. Therefore, they gave panch yajnas as a prayashchitta karma. One is supposed to do Brahma yajna, Deva yajna, Nru yajna, Bhuta yajna and Pitru yajnas. Panch yajnas Grihastha is supposed to do because he or she ends up doing some himsa, directly or indirectly. Shastra accepts this. And in Vyavhara also, ahimsa absolutely is not possible. Okay? I had discussed last time also, but still to remind you, these values are universal. The basis is mutual behavioral expectations. What I expect from you and what you expect from me. These mutual behavioral expectations are universal. But application of this value is not universal. It is not absolute. It is always relative. You cannot absolutely hold on to these values unless you take to life of sannyasi. Sannyasi can be totally. But in day-to-day life or in Vyavhara, It is not possible. We need to know proper interpretation of these values, and that is why we have Itihasas and Puranas. Which value is applicable in which way in a given situation, they teach us. So it is important to know and understand the value. It is equally important to know how to interpret these values. Because the truth, like Satyameva Jayate, sometimes the truth, untruth is a truth, and truth is untruth. A classic example is, here is a patient admitted into ICCU for cardiac arrest. The fellow is gasping for the breath. He has been admitted because of the tension he has in business and family life. And doctors, and there was a fear, if I die, what will happen? And he asked the doctor with a gasping, what happened? Doctor says, nothing has happened, forget it. It's little hot, so you have a sunstroke, so we have put you into AC for 2 days. He will not say, you have the doctor, the same doctor goes out, the family asks him, what is it? Then doctor will say, if he survives for 48 hours, then there are chances of survival 50%. There are 50% chances of survival if he survives 48 hours. Suppose the same statement, Satyameva Jayate. I shall not speak untruth, and doctor says to patient who is asking what happened, it is very severe heart attack. If we survive 48 hours, then there is 50-50 chances. Over. There itself the fellow will be over. So that untruth by the doctor is truth. So also, himsa. Nobody wants to get hurt, either physically, mentally, or verbally. But doing physical himsa is dharma, punya. For whom? Policemen. For whom? For army people. That is why Bhagavan has created Kshatriyas. There is a Vakya in Shankar Bhashya. This Brahmana means a section of the society which educates the society of what? What is right and what is wrong. What is dharma, what is adharma. What is proper, what is improper. Since we are blessed with the faculty of choice or freedom, there are every possibility that we may cross those boundaries and misuse the freedom. So there should be somebody who forces us to do the things. There is a Vakya in this Taittiriya. You know this? The bhayam is necessary to some extent. In a typical Gujarati, they say, Bhagavane sauma daro mukyo se. In all animals, he has put the bhayam. Look at this buffalo. 800 kg, 900 kg. That buffalo is so powerful. In village, 10, 15 people tie the rope and try to hold. You just can't hold it. On a hot summer, the buffalo always looks for water because it is black, Where's Baman ne bhaji? Pani dekhi raji. That buffalo is happy to be in water. When after grazing, she gets into the village pond. This cowherd's daughter, thin, lean daughter of 10, 12 years, just takes a pebble and throws at buffalo. Buffalo comes up. Just one small stick. There is a bhayam. All animals have bhayam inbuilt in the software. That Vakya, Taittiriya Vakya, Bhishasmad vatah pavate, Bhishodeti suryah, Bhishasmad agnischendrascha, Mrutyur dhavati panchama iti. Same is there in Kathopanishad also. Asmat Bhishat Paramatmanah Bhayat. Out of fear of the Lord, Vataf Pavate, Vayu runs around. Bhisho Deti Surya, Udeti Surya, Surya Udeti. At a proper time, the sun does the job in a proper way because of Bhayam for Ishvara. Bhisho Deti Surya, Bhishasmad Agnischendrascha. Agni Devata, Indra Devata also perform their functions because of Bhayam. And Yamraja himself says in Kathopanishad, Yasmad Bibheti Sarvam Tad Mrityuhu. Because of whom everybody is afraid, Yamraja. I myself am afraid. All my job properly. And what kind of Bhayam? Sayanacharya writes in the Bhashya, Swayam Dikpalaha Samarthaha Devaha. They are the kings. They are like ministers, secretaries. Very powerful. So powerful that they can give you karma phala without performing. So Nachiketa Yamaraja says, Satya Sankalpo Aham Devaha. He gives us, you have this, etam srunkam vittamayim vrunitva. Have this because I can give you gati, because I am a devata. So powerful. Swayam dikpalaha samartha api swakyeshu karteshu karyeshu apramatta san pravartera. They are so diligently performing their duties. You know why? In between there is one vakya. Vajramudyantam swaminam drashtva yatha bhrutyaha svikiyeshu karyeshu pravartante tadvatu. Like those old movies, they are like hunter. The supervisor holding the hunter and the slaves perform their functions so diligently out of fear. These devatas are afraid of Paramatma, Ishvara, Bhayam. That Bhaya is implanted in all, and to put human being back to the track, there is a Kshatriya class who is supposed to do Rakshanam of Dharma. So policeman or a king punishing somebody, it is not Himsa, it is Ahimsa. Or that's what Arjuna had a confusion. Ahobat mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yad rajya sukhalobena hantum sajana mudyata. If you just look at the first chapter, last verses, Arjuna was not afraid of the war. He was afraid of doing papa. And I cannot do papa. There is a papa. Lakshaya pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha narake aniyatam vasa bhavatiti anushushrumaha, etc. Bhaya, papa, bhayam. That is why, by the way, after death there is always Garud Puran they read. Garud Puran is full of all bhaya. If you do this papa, this karma, this papa, this phala, this phala, this phala. By that they want to make you conscious that I don't cross my boundaries. So they are Arjuna, Moha. You are supposed to protect dharma. And it is not papam in killing those adharmis. Duryodhana is adharmi, and the people standing his by side, they are accomplice to adharmi, they are equally punishable. That's what Lord teaches him. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. It is a dharma. So this himsa done by army is not ahimsa, it is ahimsa. Policeman catches this fellow carrying the drugs or smuggling some weapon and then tells him, because he has studied some shastra, Satyam vada priyam vada. And he says, oh Mr. John, will you please tell me who gave you these drugs? Do you think John is going to tell him? He has to do third degree, hit him, beat him, whatever, to eke out the truth. So also army. Here I would like to come back to one observation of Puja Swami. It is so relevant today. India lost its glory because of one so-called glorious king called Ashoka. We always studied in history, he was a great king. But Swami said he had done a great blunder. What was a blunder? You know this battle of Kalinga. They say it was, whole river was full of blood. And because of that battle, he developed, this is improper, let me commit to ahimsa. And took to Buddha. That is fine, but it disbanded the army. When it disbanded the army, what happened? Small leaders became the chief. They had small kingdoms. The country got fragmented. That was easy for foreign invaders to kill one by one and win over. That was no united country. It disbanded. I can disband the army? No. As a king, I cannot. If he wanted to commit to ahimsa, he should have taken to sannyas and gone out. But sitting over there on the kingdom ruling, and I say ahimsa doesn't work. It is like police chief telling ahimsa paramo dharma. Let us take out all the revolvers given to all policemen. What will happen? I have asked in India, couple of IPS officers who were the additional Director General of Police of the state. They carry this revolver. I asked him, how many times have you shot bullets from this gun? He said, never. In their career of 30-35 years, never. But that implants bhaya. So Raja cannot be ahimsaka, should not be ahimsaka. To win, to fight in a battle and kill, that is not papam. For a kshatriya, it is punya. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Swargadva Sukhina kshatriya of Partha Labhante yuddha midrisham Swargadvaram apavrat. This battle to fight and to kill for dharma is like open. It's like going to heaven with an open gates. You just walk into heaven. So, ahimsa is himsa sometimes, and himsa in certain cases is ahimsa. You need to interpret. Rama also says the same thing. Then comes vachik himsa. By speech, we hurt people. And that hurt is very deep-rooted and long-lasting. Our history in Gujarat is full of such kings. They had enmity and kept fighting these Bapus for 3 or 4 generations because some great-great-grandfather was insulted by the great-great-grandfather of this fellow. That's all the story. It hurts. There is a beautiful story about it. One person, his son, a teenage guy, used to lose himself and will talk anything and everything. His father wanted to teach him that you just don't be like a loose cannon, at least in terms of talking. So he gave him one thing, one exercise, therapy. There was a log of food outside. He says, when you are too angry, take the nail and hammer and hit it on the wood. So your anger gets expression and you will be relieved relatively. It was a therapy. The child used to do, and he enjoyed doing that because heating comes, that when the pressure went out. And then he used to tell when the things are quiet and the child is relaxed, he says, now remove the nails. He used to remove. After 1 month, he took him to that log. And he says, how many nails are there? He says, no nail. I am no angry. When I am angry, I nail it. Now I am no angry. All those are resolved, so I am no angry. Father says, good. But see that when you hit the nail, those holes remain. The wood is not like as before. So when we hurt somebody by our speech, it's very difficult for the hurt to heal. Therefore, one should be very conscious in speaking. As I said yesterday at the end, my speech should be the finished product of my thinking, not the raw material for thinking. I often find people say, when they have some, especially between the spouse, and then they have said something to each other, after 3 days, 4 days, the person says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, okay? What, you didn't mean it? You better correct your English. I don't mean it now. That moment I meant it. That moment he or she meant it when they said something in a fit of anger. It was like a loose cannon. So no, there is a, like the checklist. I am told when the pilots, before they fly the plane, they come half an hour, 1 hour early, especially international flight. They study it almost 3 hours, 4 hours. There is a whole checklist. They check few things, 30, 40 things they have to check. Outside the plane and inside the plane. Similarly, there is a checklist for vak. Satyam vada, priyam vada, hitam vada. Anudvegakaram vakyam, satyam priya hitam chayat, swadhyaya bhasanam chaiva, tapo vangmaya muchyate. What I speak, it should not be hurting any which way. There is again typical Indian thinking. Truth is always bitter. Who said? Truth is neither bitter nor sweeter. Okay, your tongue is bitter. How you put the truth is important. Don't say that truth is always bitter. Truth is truth. Truth is tasteless. It has no taste. But you want to justify your way of talking by bitterness. Therefore, the Vakya is Satyam Vada, Priyam Vada. And Satyam api Apriyam Ma Vada. Satyam Vada, Priyam Vada, Hitam Vada. Satyam api Apriyam Ahitam Ma Vada. There are certain Mahapurushas. Satyam Asatyam, Priyam Apriyam, Hitam Ahitam, Aham Vadahi Vada. I will tell. And they say, I am very upfront person. I'll tell. Why should you? There is some pressure inside. That's a wrong thing. And Satyam, Hitam, Priyam, Anudvegakaram. That checklist should be there. And then only I speak to the people. Very important. And as I said, today, not only Satyam, Priyam, Hitam, in communication, they say 60+% of communication is non-verbal. Your body language, your gestures, your expressions. So that also should be pleasant. Therefore, in the Lakshanas of Bhakta, Bhagavan says, Yasmat no dvijate lokaha, lokan no dvijate chaya. Harsha marsha bhayodvegaihi mukto yassacha me priya. That body language, your expression, your tone of speaking, everything should be pleasing. That is Vak Tapas. Then ultimately comes Manasa Himsa, that mental hurt, jealousy, deceit, or to think ill of somebody. That is also one kind of Himsa. My thoughts, I never think ill of anyone. I never have jealousy for anyone. Ahimsa. To speak truth and hitam, etc., I have to be disciplined. I can control. And as I said in the morning, I can close the shutter. Therefore, in the culture, we had a value. People used to make maunam one day, like fasting, because there is a time for maunam. They used to manage. This is a really good thing. Even in Jewish On the day of Shabbat, they keep quiet. If you go to Bali, there is one day. Whole country, they just don't do anything. Roads don't work, nothing. Just be with yourself. Jews are supposed to be with themselves on every Friday night. Even they don't light up the lamp. Nothing, just observe. So I should be observant in my speech, and I can be observant in my mind. I can close the shutter and refrain from talking certain things, and I can discipline myself. How to discipline the mind so that it doesn't think ill of anybody? There is the only answer is Pratipaksha Bhavana. Do deliberate opposite expressions. Therefore we have this prayer. Prayer helps for both. Therefore we have prayer, Jihva me madhumattama karna abhyam bhuri vishruvam, etc., etc. Yaschandasam vrishabho vishwarupaha chandobhyodhyamrita sambhavuva samendro medhaya sprunotu amrutasya deva dharano bhuyasam amrutasya. Dharana. In my speech I hold truth, amrutatvam, etc. prayer. So also to develop manasik ahimsa, I grew up from childhood, every day we had to chant this vakya at night after evening puja. What? Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu. And last line, ma kaschit prani matramapi dukh bhag abhavi. Dukkhasya bhaji. That let me not have dukkham, let all be happy. That is Pratipaksha Bhavana, and prayers helps one to be free from Manasika Ahimsa. Then there is a very important value. Look at the shloka. I will read now shloka again. Then that's very useful value in day-to-day life also. Amanitvamadambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham स्थैर्यमात्म विनिग्रहः. Okay. Then the next value comes Shantihi. Shantihi means accommodation. To accommodate person or to accept the person. This is very important for harmony in relationship. This is very important for healthy relationship. When I say healthy relationship means in all relationships. It's not only relationship between the spouse or the first family. Human being has to relate to the whole world. You cannot remain without relating. You may run away from here. You relate to the tree where you live and those birds on the treetops they live. So you have to relate. And this value makes the relationship very pleasant if one has this value. What happens? It is a fact that I meet with unpleasant situation. I meet with unpleasant behavior of someone else, improper attitude, improper conduct of someone else. Beginning from the road, somebody will suddenly overtake and get into lane. Somebody will unnecessarily honk you. Somebody will just take a sharp turn and you have to brake. This will be always there. Beginning from there to some improper behavior from my spouse, from my children, from my neighbor, from my boss, from my friend, is bound to be there. Then there are 3 to 4 possibilities. Usual possibility is tit for tat. I return back whatever I am been given to. That is good, but only with Pakistan, okay? Don't try that anywhere else. That is beneficial. Modi is very clear on that. Before he became Prime Minister, he had interviewed, said, Pakistan ko uski, the interviewer asked, how will you negotiate with Pakistan on terrorism? बोले उसकी भाषा में समझाना चाहिए. पाकिस्तान को पाकिस्तान की भाषा में समझ, मतलब क्या है? उसकी भाषा मतलब उसकी भाषा, आप समझ लो जो समझना हो तो. He showed it, what is उसकी भाषा. After becoming Prime Minister, he showed it. It doesn't say. That udvega continues. That vairam continues. And nobody gains in that, because it's a reaction. That reactive life brings more reaction, and reaction brings more reaction, and each reaction causes unpleasant feeling and dukkha. So it doesn't work that way. Or you expect, there is another problem. Why don't you change? We want the people around us to change. Everything is good, Swamiji, but this I don't like. She has to change. And every time they say, you change, and Swamiji used to nicely say, then every time this fellow was telling her, you change, it is like this father always shouted at children, you are useless. You should change, you should be sincere. And every time giving example of Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru at your age was the leader. Jawaharlal Nehru at your age was barrister. Jawaharlal Nehru at your age was studying in Cambridge. One day child lost his temper. He says, Daddy, everything is fine, but Jawaharlal Nehru at your age was Prime Minister. Do you understand? And the whole country listened to him. My mother also doesn't listen to me. So now keep quiet. My boys hamaru haambalti nathi. Chala mala bhi jao. So this fellow kept telling, you change. So then she said, why don't you change for a change? You also better. Doesn't work. There also some accommodation is required. Sometimes people keep that hurt within themselves. It remains within. And they think I am controlling myself. But it is like brewing the coffee. The aroma spreads outside, The aroma of the hurt is so much within. That fellow is nursing that hurt after so many years. It doesn't work. One has to process it out. I have seen people fighting. When they fight, especially couple, they quote the similar situation 20 years back. That time when we went in marriage, soon after our marriage, in your friend's marriage, you had done the same thing. They remember everything. So that's not a thing. This is where Kshanti is necessary. I would say Kshanti is an expression of emotional maturity. What is emotional maturity? To be factual is emotional maturity. What is emotional immaturity? Look at that way, then you can understand. A child, a baby, is immature emotionally. Why? Suppose he has a balloon and it bursts. Baby is hurt and makes all types of tantrums. Balloon burst, and can't accept. Why did the balloon burst? That is childish approach. Childish means immature. The father or older brother says, it's okay. It's balloon, it has to burst. It will burst either today or tomorrow. We'll buy the new one. That is objective statement, which is right. That is maturity. To be emotionally mature means to be objective. And immature means to be subjective. What is the objectivity? in this external situation, especially the behavior of the near and dear one, there is always some background, childhood issues. They were there in unconscious. Either because of the person's upbringing, because of the person's values that it was implanted by the parents or the society or the teachers or the siblings, whatever reason. And those values and attitudes may not be in alignment with my own values. But that person values something, and that is why he or she does this. Like this terrorist. Nobody is born terrorist. It is religious indoctrination makes the person terrorist. This is one step ahead if you look at it. It is sympathetic. Anybody who, whatever religion he or she follows, the fellow is very faithful. He or she has a tremendous Shraddha, very innocent mind. However complicated, crooked he or she may be in the world, when they approach the religious place or religious teacher, heart is very innocent. And those masters, so-called religious master, for them this fellow innocent heart became gullible. They indoctrinated that who are not faithful to us should be killed. That's a mandate of the God. The person is so innocent that he buys that statement. He is not born terrorist, but then made terrorist. Similarly, nobody is bad by birth. Situations or his or her own background, samskaras, upbringing makes them bad. Like Swachhata Abhiyan, These Indians, when they eat and they throw the piece of paper on the road. It's natural. The person is not bad, but habitually they do it. It takes time for a person to change. They say habits die hard. Government is trying, Modi is trying, but still the habit doesn't go suddenly. So also certain behavioral pattern does not change immediately. It takes time. The other person has to see the fallacy or this improper thing in his or her behavior, how he or she is hurting the other fellow, then the other person will change. When I want other person to change, it is not a matter of advice, it is not a matter of order, much less matter of emotional need. You can't express emotionally. The person may, okay, I'm hurting, I'll do that. Doesn't work. We have to make other person see the need to change. That person should see himself or herself that I need to change. And that is where communications become important. I should have a space to communicate. I get hurt and immediately I give response or hold it on. No. I keep that hurt aside and objectively communicate to that person, make the other person see the need that he or she should change, and then express my feeling. This is the pain that I got it from you because of this behavior. Then the relations become smoother. And that space of acceptance of the other person is called kshanti. This is another problem. When you love somebody, suddenly you want the other person to be the best. When you love somebody, you become the savior. The Jesus has gone. But every loving person is a savior for their children. I am the savior. What savior? They want to control the person. This is bad. Improve this area. This is not. Improve that area. Keeps on working on that person. That's not love. That's such kind of love brings out trying to control the other person. No. I leave the person, allow the person as he or she is, with all the weakness, and still I love you. That is a love. As I said yesterday, I love you. You make my life complete. Valentine. It doesn't work. That person is incomplete. You better honestly say this. Even when you come to my life is going to be incomplete. Still I love you. And I will also make your life incomplete. And still you should love me. To accept the limitations. That is Shanti. That Swamiji's statement is so loaded. To that extent you let people be what they are, to that extent you are free. You are free to extent you let them what they are. You see, how does it work? Please understand. When other person certain improper behavior is there, I want to correct, I want to change it. And what happens? That improper behavior, when I say accept the person, means it is true, it is improper. But I don't let myself get hurt by such behavior. This is how it is. Exactly like a doctor. Any patient carrying contagious disease comes to him. He doesn't complain, hey guys, why are you coming to me? They will come to you only. He accepts them. But he makes sure that those bugs don't affect him, don't make him or her sick. I don't let myself get hurt by their behavior. This is how the fellow is. Full stop. Because more I get hurt, more I will have problem. When I leave people to be what they are, that doesn't mean what? I have that maturity that I don't get hurt by such people's behavior. Then I may work on to correct them. I may work to change them people. That's okay. Your freedom, your choice. But I don't let myself get hurt. Extent I allow them to be what they are. Unfortunately, those lockers, bank lockers, or in post office post boxes, I have a fixed box for everybody in mind. How my husband or wife should be, my son or daughter should be, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, everything should be. There are pigeon-like boxes. And none of them is fitting to this box. Because all is ready-made, it is not tailored one. If somebody is ready-made, you received as a partner. So they don't fit it. And when they don't fit in, there is a grudge, there is a pain, and you always want to fit that person. Don't do that. Make the size of the box bigger, full stop. Accept the person with limitations, that is accommodation. Let them be what they are. You suggest them, help them, but if they don't change, accept this is unchangeable aspect of that person. That is how he or she is. And second sentence also is important. I have to live with this. This thinking, no, I am not comfortable, I change. My way or highway. How many you can change? Therefore, after 4 marriages, 5 marriages also they asked, do you still love me? Because this is a problem. Because can't accept other person as he or she is with limitations. I have to live, this is my prarabdha, this is my destiny. If that is there, then you don't change it. No, I want a new one. And the new one also will have same problem. I want another one, that also will have same problem. And then is a disadvantage or the side benefit of this, the 1+1 free business came, They got the spouse, new one, but her one child came along with that. 1+1 free it became. That's how this society is, Like this fellow, there is a typical American joke. After the third marriage, she was cooking and says, "Honey, come!" So Hano ran. Honey called, honey, come. Honey is a fool. From sound it looks like feminine. I don't know, it's a feminine or masculine. So husband came, "What is it?" Then there is a loaded statement. He says, "Look, honey, your children and my children are beating our children." Your children and my children are beating our children. This is 1+1 free business. Doesn't work. You have to accept people as they are. Traffic is going to be as they are. At least start with Rahul Gandhi. Okay, that is what he is going to be. India, there is a danger of such a prime minister. If it happens, so what? Can't change. Accommodating, accepting the people as they are, and leaving them to be what they are. If they are near and dear ones, affecting you too much, try to correct them, but after acceptance, not out of rejection. And there is an acceptance and then corrections. The process of correction will be soaked with compassion. It will be soaked with love. And when you work upon somebody lovingly, work upon somebody with compassion, the person changes. You see. Often we accept certain things and often we don't accept. That is where relationships have problem. Absence of kshanti, accommodation, gives rise to reactions. And these reactions, big person. What is judgmental? The brand the other person. He is always like that. Yeah, he doesn't know how to talk. You just go with that presumption. Suppose the other person says, like typical teenage child, he complains, my professor did like this. I know you don't know how to talk. You must have talked rudely. There is a judgmental approach. And when you approach the person judgmentally, with a judgmental approach, relations cannot be smooth. You have to be fresh. That freshness comes when you accept the person, he or she has this. But not always. Often, that's okay. Even if it is always, there are exceptions. Sometimes that person doesn't behave that way. So I accept this and go ahead. That is a kshanti. Relationships is necessary when you accept certain facts. I am reminded of a prayer, which again Puja Swamiji used to quote in meditations. These are all non-acceptance things. When the people talk, they have a non-acceptance about traffic. Swamiji, California traffic is headache. Just headache. I can't get out after 9. Up to 3:34, it's so jam. Bumper to bumper, bumper. Every time you meet, they say the same thing. Okay, leave California and go somewhere. How can I live? Then better leave. This is not accepted. Common complaint about weather. In between there was big thing about environment, ecology. I happened to go in 3 or 4 conferences. One was in Norway and one was in France, and everywhere the people were very well-meaning. They were talking as though the Brahmanda has come to an end because of the ecological thing approach. And all complaining, it is so bad, it is so bad. It is bad. Accept it. Otherwise, forget it. But grudging, all problems. Traffic, weather, spouse, children. Non-acceptance only gives rise to bad mouth. When they gather together, they talk of somebody. That is because they have not accepted. It is like this few group of people, ladies in a kitty party, used to go to restaurant and they were shouting so much, talking che 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 che. The owner of the restaurant had to every time request them, okay, please keep quiet, I am losing other customer. But they never. One day all of them were quiet. This fellow surprised, after 6 months my Upadesha has worked. They are so quiet. Then he had a question, how come they are one person, second, but all of them quiet? So he couldn't contain. So while the bill and payment was done, he says, may I have one answer from you, my respected clients, regular clients. What is it today? How come all of you are quiet? He says, we have no topic to talk. He says, why? Because all are present here. So, today's party, all the members are present. So, what to talk about whom? Because they are all here. You cannot talk them on the front, So, this is acceptance. And the prayer was, Swamiji used to say, oh God, give me courage to change the things which I can. Give me the serenity to accept which I cannot. Third line was important. And the wisdom to know the difference. Just as in my personality, there are certain areas I can't change, even though I want to change. Or even if someone says, I don't see the need to change, I don't want to think. So also, all my dear and near ones have certain areas. They use this word, give some space. This is space. Giving space means analyzing, these are the areas the other person can't change. But the other person don't want to change. I don't control that person. No, you have to change. Okay, then bye-bye. What else? You can't force the person beyond a point. And as I said earlier, if you want the other person to change, you have to help them to see that I need to change. And that also be ready, you will not be successful all the time. Even if you think you are so analytical and so logical and so example, everything you tell, but that person doesn't want to change. We have classic example, our Rahulji, the great, doesn't want to see any good thing being done in that. That doesn't want to see that there is no corruption in Rafael deal. He doesn't want to. Why go to Rahul? Duryodhana. Lord Krishna himself tried to help him to see the need. He refused to change. Lord says, don't fight. No, I want to fight. Ravana also refused to change. If you see Ramayana, every time they all say, don't do this. Even the Kumbhakarna, when he woke them up, before time. Kumbhakarna was woken up before time. He said, what happened? Why did you disturb my sleep? Then he narrated, I kidnapped a lady and his wife and then the husband have come and we have lost. He said, Vapas de do, or so gaya. He says, return the lady, and he slept again. So they again woke him up. Everybody told him no. He refused. There are certain areas in others' personality which he or she doesn't want to change. And pardon me for saying, of course most of you are senior citizens, but many areas are there when the children are teenage. That's the usual conflict. They don't want to change. They have different ideas and they think this is proper. accept this is how it is going to be. Give me serenity to accept which I cannot change. Full stop. Or you can change with tremendous effort in the long run. Like Swachhata Abhiyan. It is not going to work overnight. It will take time for people to change. It's like in their attitudes and approach to the life. Accept that person. And wisdom to know the difference, what is changeable and what is non-changeable. I often find people whiling away, wasting away all their energies in what? In discussing politics. They talk. In India, everybody is a wise man, politically correct. I am for Modi, and then when somehow they know that I have some connections, so they start with, Swamiji, I am for Modi. But when you meet him, tell him this is not proper. I tell you, if I take them seriously, Modi will have to appoint one secretary for my letter. I remember when I was living in Ahmedabad for a few years, there was an area called Law Garden. It used to be very good, polished area, and garden and senior citizens and all IAS, bureaucrats, squatters, and it's a very high society sort of. There is a garden and people used to go for a walk. Sometimes I used to go. So there, and the younger working fellows will walk and seniors will sit and discuss. I am talking of 70s, 75, 76, something. It is almost 40 plus years when I left home. So, they're sitting there, they used to discuss. I think policy on China is not good. One retired IAS will tell this. The other fellow says his policy is good, but a Kissinger is useless. And the third fellow will comment on Indira Gandhi. And quite a few I knew them. So I felt like telling them, कि तारे घरे રીંગણા બનાવા કે બટાકા એ તારી ઘરવાળી તને પૂછતી નથી. Whether your wife, whether today should I cook brinjal or potatoes? Your spouse don't ask you. Why are you advising Nixon and Kissinger? That too, sitting in a law garden. Unnecessary. I can't change them. Leave it and do some productive. Think of your moksha. At least change your jivatma and change your thing. Something. What Indira should do, what this fellow should do. Non-accept. Shanti, abhava. Know the difference. And what is non-changeable, accept it. This is how the person is. This is how the situation is. Discussion about weather, this is how it is. Every time I hear in India, Swamiji, this summer is very hot. This winter is very cold. Here I listen the other way around. Every winter is like that. Forget it and work it out. Shanti. One good thing you can do about is, we had this form. I grew up by that form. We were asked to write diary daily. Write diary of your experiences. You have to say candid diary. Everybody wrote a diary as though they are Mahatma Gandhi. Want to project good things. No. You write that daily. Never read what you wrote yesterday. Write it for a month or 2 months and then study. Then find a quality time. Look at the whole blessed thing. You will find a pattern of non-acceptance. Like policemen. When there is some theft, they study the pattern. then they know this gang must be that. They know how to catch them. So there is a pattern in my psyche of non-acceptance. There are certain pattern. Spouse, this is only pattern when I don't accept. Children, this area. Office, this, boss, this, etc. And I lose myself. I become angry. I become controlling. I become rejecting the person. I become judgmental. And when you are that pattern, that is the time your unconscious overpowers. You let unconscious to take charge of you. You lose the conscious being. So write a diary. Find out the pattern. These are the vulnerable areas of my non-acceptance. Absence of Shanti in these areas. And there is a non-acceptance, there is a pain, there is a grumbling, unconscious comes out. The pattern, you can work on freedom from the pattern. When you know the pattern, the third line, the wisdom to know the difference will come. Then you can see that this is improper I am doing. And that is how we develop Kshanti. Two other means of Kshanti is there. Prayers also is helpful. When you live in the awareness of Ishvara, you can accept the unpleasant things as, in a Shastric language, prasada of Ishvara. And in a common jargon of a typical Hindu, chalo Bhagavan ki, Bhagavan ne jo kiya so thik kiya. That attitude, that awareness about Ishvara, there is a bhajan, jo Hari karega, wo mere hit ka karega. That's Shraddha, so many bhajans. That awareness of Ishvara as karma phal data, awareness of Ishvara, who is he? Bhagavan says himself, Surudam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shantim ruchyati. May you know me Surut. Surut means always caring, helping, even when the help is not asked for. I just reach out, come out of my own compassion. That is a Surut, that is Ishvara. When you live in that awareness of that Surut Ishvara, Shanti becomes natural. You accept the situation, accept the people. This is how it is. And last thing is, I form a deliberate habit of prayers. Praying daily also gives me necessary strength to have Shanti and accept. And of course, this our Gujarat earthquake in 2001, it was so devastating. The fellow was on the 4th floor watching something and suddenly finds himself on the ground floor watching the straight ground. The whole building collapsed like that. If you go there, I had worked in those days for 7-8 crores of rupees of reconstruction and all that. Then after 1.5 years you go and tell them, Chalo Bhagavan ki ichha jo ho gaya so ho gaya. They accepted that. And I was told by a couple of doctors working in that area, coming from US, that we had in California, there was some earthquake in 60s or 70s. And the psychological trauma, in fact, continued for 30 years. These all Kutchi people have forgotten the earthquake. You tell them, it is like our 6th December, Muslims have forgotten demolition of Babri Masjid. Opposition parties remember in parliament. They have still not accepted. How this happened? They have accepted. This is what happened. This acceptance of prarabdha, acceptance of the will of the Lord, and accepting my own limitations. As I said yesterday, I love myself in spite of limitations. I love myself in spite of failures. In spite of being imperfect. Today's problem, one of the problem is self non-acceptance. I want to be the best in all the areas. And I am not acceptable to myself. And that self, non-accepted self, how can he or she accept the other self again with imperfections? You cannot. Self-acceptance is also a means for developing shanti. I don't mean to say forget it. No. Forgiveness is also not though. Neither forgetfulness nor forgiveness, acceptance of certain facts. And dealing with the certain facts with a mind of acceptance. That is shanti. Then next comes amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shantihi, arjavam. Arjavam means straightforwardness. Arjavam means that there is a harmony or there is a unification in my thoughts, in my speech, actions. There is an alignment in all the three. What I speak, that is what I do, and what I speak, that is what I think. So as I think, so I express in terms of my organs of actions at the level of speech, and same thing I express at the level of hastendriya, karmendriyas. That is called arjavam, rujutva. This is important for my own peace of mind. When I don't have an alignment with my thoughts and my deeds, it gives rise to conflict. It gives rise to agitations. It gives rise to disturbances. And ultimately, it creates a split personality. Whenever I compromise, I do opposite to what I thought to be. What is my thinking or what is my action? I said something else and I meant something else. At that time, there is a conflict in the mind because I know what I have said and I know what I mean. Any kind of conflict, any kind of division in persona always leads to stress, always leads to disturbances, always leads to anxiety and worry, etc. Because within there is conflict thing happening in my own life, and I am only one person as one individual. I cannot be divided. I cannot be three. One who thinks is one, speaks is one, and does is one. That is not possible. So, for even Vyavhara, peace of mind, arjavam is very much necessary. And that makes the person Mahatma. Manasi ekam, vachasa ekam, karmana ekam, Mahatmana. Vachasa anyat, karmana anyat, manasa anyat, tad duratmana. Who is a duratma? There is something in the mind and there is something else in the speech and there is something else in his actions. Thinking is different when speaking is different and doing is different. That is a state of duratma. I have to be Mahatma. That means together person. When there is no alignment, he or she becomes a split personality, and when there is alignment, I am a together person. And that togetherness is very much necessary for the knowledge to take place. And therefore Bhagavan mentions Arjavam. We'll see something tomorrow about this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.